The most dangerous person in any battle is not the loudest, not the strongest, not the most aggressive. It's the calm one, the one who doesn't flinch, who doesn't react, who doesn't let chaos disturb the stillness within. This isn't just poetic wisdom, it's a truth proven on the battlefield. Centuries ago, Miyamoto Musashi, a man undefeated in over 60 life-or-death duels, became a living legend in Japan. But it wasn't just his sword that made him unstoppable. It was his mind. Musashi's true weapon wasn't forged of steel. It was forged through inner control. He discovered that the one who remains calm holds the advantage, not just in war, but in life. In this video, we will uncover the 4 timeless principles Musashi used to remain centered, even when facing death, and how you can apply those same principles in the battles you face every day. Arguments, workplace tension, emotional breakdowns, inner chaos. Because in the end, the one who stays calm controls the outcome. The first battle is always the one within. When someone insults you, challenges you, raises their voice in anger, your body tightens, your chest contracts, your pulse races, and before you even realize it, you're gone, dragged into the storm of reactivity, your mind hijacked by emotion. This is the trap Musashi understood better than anyone. He knew, if you lose control of yourself, you've already lost control of the situation. So his first principle wasn't power, it wasn't technique, it was distance, not physical but emotional. Musashi trained himself to observe emotions without becoming them. He didn't say, "I am angry." He said, "I see anger rising in me." That space between what you feel and how you respond, that's where power lives. You don't have to suppress your emotions, but you don't have to serve them either. When you can see your emotion as a cloud passing overhead instead of a storm you must drown in, you become unshakable. Try this. The next time you feel anger rising, pause, name it. I notice frustration. I see fear. This simple act creates space, and with that space comes clarity. Musashi didn't conquer his enemies by being colder than them. He conquered them by being clearer. And that clarity began with a calm heart. Most people walk into conflict reactive, unprepared. They improvise under pressure. They flinch at every unexpected blow. Musashi did the opposite. He never entered a duel blind. He studied, he observed. He knew that humans, when stressed, become predictable. Anger follows patterns, fear narrows options, ego creates openings. He would watch opponents before the fight. He would note their body language, their pride, their habits. Before his most famous duel with Sasaki Kojiro, he arrived late on purpose. He carved a wooden sword, longer than Kojiro's, knowing the man's pride would be his downfall. Musashi didn't win when he struck, he won when he anticipated. You can do the same. Before a difficult conversation, ask yourself, what is this person likely feeling? What are they hoping to gain? What emotional reaction do I expect? This is not manipulation, this is preparation. When you anticipate patterns, you remove the element of surprise, you remove the panic, and you walk in with focus, not fear. The calmest people in the room aren't caught off guard. They're prepared. And when you are prepared, the battle becomes less of a threat and more of a dance you've already rehearsed. Your breath is the bridge between your body and your mind. Musashi noticed that in every duel, there was one thing that gave away his opponent's fear before anything else. Their breath. It became short, fast, chaotic, and with every erratic breath their sword became less controlled, their focus scattered. So Musashi made breath his secret weapon. He trained not just with his blade, but with his lungs. He practiced strikes while maintaining slow, rhythmic breathing, because when the breath is calm, the mind becomes still. And science now confirms what Musashi sensed centuries ago. Slow, deep breathing activates the parasympathetic nervous system, the system that calms, centers, and restores balance. Even a single conscious breath can reset your emotional state. Musashi used a simple technique before every critical moment. Inhale through the nose for 4 seconds. Hold briefly. Exhale through the mouth for 6 seconds. You can do this today, before a tense conversation, a tough decision, a moment where chaos threatens clarity. This breath is not weakness, it's power, because it brings your mind back into your hands. In a world of noise, your breath is still yours. Use it. Most people fight to win an argument, to protect their pride, to be right. Musashi fought with purpose, and that made him untouchable. He said, "A warrior should not have the intent to strike first, but to remain centered in their greater purpose. Without purpose, you fight blindly, you attack shadows, you respond to triggers instead of truth." Musashi knew, if you don't know why you're in the fight, you're already lost. And the same is true today. We argue not to understand, but to defend a wound. We raise our voices not for clarity, but for ego. So before you enter any conflict, ask yourself, what is my true goal here? To find peace, to be heard, to protect your values, to avoid more harm. Hold that purpose like a torch, because when emotions rise, you will be tempted to abandon it. You will want to retaliate, to win. But a warrior who acts with purpose doesn't react. They respond. They stay anchored. And that changes everything. Your calm becomes contagious. Your focus becomes unshakable. Your presence becomes a kind of quiet dominance that doesn't need to scream. Power doesn't come from how loud you speak. It comes from how clearly you move, with intention. Imagine this: a room full of tension, raised voices, flying emotions. Everyone is trying to overpower one another. Everyone, except you. You sit still, present, clear, not passive, but unmoved. That is the rarest form of strength, and Musashi embodied it. He wasn't calm because he didn't care. He was calm because he knew who he was. That kind of stillness doesn't just protect you, it transforms you. Because when you no longer react to every blow, you no longer live at the mercy of anyone else's storm. In a chaotic world, your calm becomes your power. And the greatest paradox, once you learn to be calm, you stop needing to fight at all. Power isn't shown through action, it's shown through what you choose not to do. Musashi saw this clearly. He never struck first without reason. He never raised his sword to prove himself. He waited, he observed, he allowed the world to act foolishly around him, while he remained composed. This wasn't hesitation, it was restraint, the kind that takes more strength than any outburst ever could. In our world, restraint is rare. We're told to clap back, to react fast, to defend our reputation at all costs. But what if power isn't loud? What if the strongest move is the one you don't make? You don't have to attend every argument you're invited to. You don't have to defend every opinion. You don't have to prove yourself to people who've already decided who you are. Musashi didn't waste energy. He didn't fight unnecessary battles, and that's why he won the ones that mattered. Restraint isn't weakness, it's wisdom. The ability to stay still while the world thrashes around you, knowing that stillness is not absence but control. Every reaction is a cost. Every outburst is a withdrawal. Every conflict you enter takes something from you. Musashi knew this. He understood that energy is not infinite, and that most people bleed it away on things that do not matter. So he made choices, deliberate, precise. He didn't waste his focus on distractions. He didn't fight over petty slights. He didn't try to win arguments with the weak. He preserved his energy for what counted. Can you say the same? How much of your day is spent reacting to things that do not deserve a reaction? A comment, a look, a post on social media. You are not required to exhaust yourself proving your worth in every direction. Musashi's way teaches us real strength is conservation, real power is selective. Ask yourself, is this worth my attention? Or is this a thief disguised as urgency? The more you protect your energy, the more dangerous you become. not to others, but to the chaos that used to control you. You want to change your life? Start here. Look inward first. Musashi never trained to defeat others. He trained to defeat himself, his fear, his impulsiveness, his doubt. Because if you walk into the world with your emotions unchecked, your thoughts unexamined, your wounds unresolved, you will bleed in every direction without even knowing it. Musashi's discipline was not martial, it was psychological, spiritual. He spent years in solitude, studying not just his technique, but his mind. He didn't run from silence, he welcomed it, because silence is where the truth shows itself. Today, we run from silence. We chase stimulation. We call it productivity, but it's avoidance. You don't need another strategy. You need presence. You need to know what moves you, what angers you, what makes you flinch. Master that, and the world outside will no longer feel like a threat, because the warrior who knows himself is unshakable, even when everything around him falls apart. Musashi didn't fight to win. He fought to transcend the fight, to reach a place where combat no longer dictated his identity, but refined it. His greatest victories weren't over others, they were over ego. He once wrote, "You must understand that there is more than one path to the top of the mountain." Because victory isn't always about domination. Sometimes it's about walking away. Sometimes it's about not needing to prove anything. Sometimes it's about no longer being triggered by the things that used to control you. You don't need to win every battle. You need to grow beyond the need to fight them at all. This is transcendence, and it doesn't make you weaker. It makes you free. The one who transcends no longer battles the world to find peace. He carries peace into the world and lets the world adjust to his stillness. At the end of his life, Musashi didn't leave behind riches. He left behind a book, the Book of 5 Rings, a spiritual manual, a warrior's code. But more than anything, a message. The one who masters himself can never be defeated. In a world where people flinch at words, react to opinions, fall apart at every challenge, be the one who doesn't move. Be the one who breathes slowly while others shout, who steps back while others strike first, who listens while others speak without thinking. Not because you're passive, but because you've already won the only war that ever mattered, the war within. There will be storms, there will be noise, there will be people who test your patience, who mistake your silence for weakness, who try to pull you into battles you no longer need to fight. But remember, the strongest warrior in the room is not the loudest, not the one who speaks first, not the one who flinches. It is the one who feels everything and still chooses to remain grounded, who observes the chaos but is not owned by it, who knows that the world will rise and fall but still breathes slowly, evenly, with purpose. Miyamoto Musashi never taught us how to destroy others. He taught us how to transcend ourselves, to be sharp without being cruel, to be calm without being passive, to be powerful without ever needing to prove it. This is the path of the inner warrior. Not a fighter, but a force. Not a reaction, but a presence. You don't need to be feared. You need to be anchored, because once you master your breath, your energy, your emotions, your purpose, you become the kind of storm that no one can move. And that is not something you show, it's something you become. So when the noise rises again, when the world pulls at your ego and the temptation to react comes flooding back, just remember, true warriors don't fight the world to prove their power. They walk through the world and make the world feel their peace.